Yes, indeed, it's about that time for another review of a hurricane lantern. I know. Get excited. Buckle up, because here we go. On the far left, we have a W.T. Kirkman number 2 champion galvanized cold blast hurricane lantern. Cold blast. That's the key word. On the far right, in blue, we have the Dietz number 8 Air Pilot, also a cold blast hurricane lantern. That's the one I found recently in an antique store in great condition, and after about an hour and a half of me gently cleaning and scrubbing, it looks as good as it does, in excellent condition. The one on the far left, that was bought brand new a year ago. Now, the lantern in the middle, the newest collection here, that is an example of a hot blast lantern. Aha! There's a difference. It is a Dietz Monarch hot blast hurricane lantern. Now, you'll notice right away, it's got a red globe and it's got a bright yellow base. The dome above the glass globe is stamped City of Altoona. So I thought that's pretty cool to have something very historic and antique that's actually an older piece of history from Altoona, Pennsylvania. It is an example of a hot blast lantern. So that's the important thing. It's a hot blast lantern as opposed to a cold blast lantern. I found this at a local antique store, and it is, from what I can tell, what I would consider new old stock. Something that you might buy on eBay. You'll see, NOS, new old stock. It basically means, from what I can tell, looking at it, I've examined it, I don't think it was ever used. It appears to be brand new, just old. From what I can tell, from what I can gather, the information I was looking, it seems to be made possibly in the 1940s, but more likely it's from the 1920s. Just has never been used. So it's been sitting around in excellent condition. There is no rust. Everything about it is super smooth. There's nothing rusty. There's no forcing anything. It's as if it's just been made like a week ago. It's brand new in its function. Now, it's got a yellow base and a red globe. So you might think, McDonald's colors. No. It's probably, especially since it's stamped City of Altoona on the dome, it was probably used utility-wise. So either for, the water company, or maybe the gas company, could be police, could be fire, something like that, where it was not meant, for use around the barn. It was painted bright yellow, possibly placed in the road to help direct traffic. Maybe somebody used it on a railroad. I really don't know. It does not say railroad anywhere on it. And the funny thing is, a lot of the lanterns that you look at, they all look very, very similar. But as soon as they stamp it, Pennsylvania Railroad, anything with the word railroad stamped on it or anywhere, jacks the price up by like quadruple or more. I mean, because of the authenticity that it was used for a railroad, it will increase the value a lot. This is not one of those. This is just, like I said, City of Altoona, probably some kind of utility-related thing. But it's still a perfect example, in excellent condition, of a hot blast lantern. Now, the difference is, if you look at the difference between the two on either side, they have that large bell thing on top. And that's where the cool air, or cold air, is drawn in and sucked down through those two tubes into the upper chamber just above the font, which is where the oil is stored. And that colder air is fresh, oxygenated, fresh air that is pretty much aimed directly at the flame, which is why the flame will burn brighter than what's called a dead flame lamp. So a hurricane lantern that's designed this way as a cold blast will burn a brighter flame than just a regular lamp. What's the difference between those two on either side and the one in the middle? Well, the one in the middle is hot blast, and simply put, if you look very carefully, above it you'll see there's a gap between the dome and the glass there. You see that space? Also, you see, City of Altoona. So it's really neat, a really neat piece of history. So what happens is, very similar in the principle, that the heat rises from the flame, but instead of the exhaust going out of the chimneys like the other two have, the exhaust, about a quarter of it, will kind of escape above the glass globe. But about 3/4 of the exhaust will actually funnel up that center tube and get split left and right and get drawn down, same principle, into the font above, into the chamber, I should say, above the oil font. And that is what's shot towards or aimed towards the flame. Exhaust gases, not fresh air. That's why the hot blast lanterns were never as popular or well designed as a cold blast lantern. It's also considered a hurricane lantern, so in the event of high winds and so forth, it's difficult to blow out the flame. Also, if you'll notice above the burner, there's a whole bunch of holes. And that's where a lot of the fresh air is aimed to be drawn in from the bottom towards the flame. But it's never going to be as well designed as the timeless design of the cold blast lanterns. There's just something much more perfect about the engineering about the lanterns on either side. I wanted a hot blast lantern. I don't know that I will collect a bunch of them because I think they're cool to have, but I'm certainly more fond of the cold blast lanterns that you see on either side. Now, again, this lantern in the middle, I bought it at an antique store, and because of its condition, I made I made an offer on it. And if you compare it to Hot Blast Monarch lanterns by Dietz on eBay, you'll see the prices range, but most of them are old, they're rusty, they don't hold oil because they leak. Maybe it's missing the globe, maybe the globe is cracked or whatever. And the offer that I made to the guy and that we agreed on, honestly, especially for something in mint or brand new condition, again, I got a really good deal. Especially, like I said, if you compare them to something you find on eBay, I'm really happy with it. So, can I change out the globe? Yes. And I know that the W.T. Kirkman website does sell glass globes that are replacement globes that are blue or green or amber or clear. So if I wanted to convert it to just a regular hot blast lantern without a red globe, yes, you can buy glass globes for them to replace and not have it so much as a utility lantern. But I do love the color red, especially this ruby red. I don't think that my cell phone is doing it justice how bright and gorgeous red it is. It doesn't help, too, that the sun is shining and everything is bleached out for the video. So I may make another video later or whatever, maybe take some pictures of it later on to show you how beautiful ruby red that glass really is. And it certainly has maintained its color, especially for being an older antique. One also interesting point is that the handle is up. There's a little snapping unit where you can snap it and then lower it. But I'm going to leave it up right now. I think you can lower it if you wanted to store it, but it's up right now. Because the strange thing is, if it's not up, it actually kind of bangs and tings against the glass globe which I don't understand. Where the other two lanterns, the handle is designed longer or out of the way, or that it will hit the metal, those little metal crossbars, and not hit the glass. So, might have been an oversight when they engineered it. I'm not really sure why they did that. But again, there's a snap on the left side of the handle there. You can see it's a little bit different. It'll snap so that it will keep the handle up or not. It's up to you how you want to use and or store it. But again, it's a hot blast lantern. So those support tubes are hot because they have hot air going through them, as opposed to the cold blast, like the lanterns on either side. Those tubes are cold because they have cold or cool air going through them. So again, it makes more sense to keep the handle up. So if you wanted to move the lantern, you grab the handle and not the hot lantern. Everything about this lantern is hot. Again, because of the design. So I don't know, I don't know why it was designed like that. It works. Its primary goal is to keep the lantern and the flame going and burning if you're in a hurricane or strong wind environment, or you're outdoors, you're doing something. And again, if it says City of Altoona, yeah, this might have been designed and used for outdoor stuff in all kinds of weather. So the lantern gets hot. That's the drawback. But it keeps the lamp going, which is great. So anyway, I just wanted to make this quick little video. Again, from left to right now, joining the family. From left, we have the W.T. Kirkman No. 2 Champion Cold Blast Galvanized Hurricane Lantern. Now in the middle, we have the Dietz Monarch, and I don't believe there's a number associated with it. It's just a Dietz Monarch. And there are, I think, 2 or 3 versions of the Dietz Monarch. But again, I believe that this is from the 1920s. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's a Dietz Monarch Hot Blast Hurricane Lantern in the middle with a ruby red globe. And on the far right, we have the lovely Dietz No. 8 Air Pilot Cold Blast Lantern, Hurricane Lantern. And that is a beautiful sight. Thanks for watching. God bless. Take care. And I'll see you around.